these bookish musings where I'm sharing my love for reading at my own pace. So in today's video, I am going to be doing a vlog. And so I am on my way to Raleigh, North Carolina to meet my sister. We're going to do some wedding stuff. Just spend some time together because I haven't seen her in about like a little over a month. So we're meeting halfway. And then I'm going to be doing somewhat of like a bookstore crawl for National Independent Book Day. I think it's today. And so I'm going to be doing that mainly because if you watch my channel, you guys know that I do not really buy books full price. Okay, I like to buy my books used, number one, at a thrift store, online used bookstore, or a physical used bookstore. However, my son just came out with a book. His book was just published, traditionally published through Penguin. I don't know the division. It's not Random House. It's Penguin something. And he sent a message to the family group chat letting us know his book was out. And so one of my cousins looked up the book and was like, hey, it's on Amazon. Is it okay if I purchase it through Amazon? He noted that he hadn't put that as an option to purchase it, and he let us know about Amazon, y'all. Now, I mean, I know about Amazon having bad business practices and models and just being like a greedy company. Like, I'm very sour when it comes to Amazon, but I have to admit, some things you can't get from anywhere else, or it's just more convenient to get on Amazon. And I still buy books, unfortunately, on Amazon because they're bargains. They're usually a lot cheaper. However, I think I'm going to be purchasing more books independently now, within reason, okay? Because your girl cannot be in a bookstore paying $200 and some in books just for them to sit on the shelf. So periodically I will support independent bookstores, and in return, of course, supporting the author, mainly because of what my son said. So let me give you the scoop, just in case you didn't know, because I didn't know why Amazon is so bad for authors. Okay, so Amazon does not provide any type of feedback when a consumer purchases a author's book. They just calculate the numbers, the money, that's it. They don't send any type of feedback to the publisher. Versus if you purchase it through a independent bookstore or Barnes and Nobles, you know, some freestanding bookstore, they send feedback to the publisher as to how well the book is doing, you know, and that in return is helping the author, right, publish more books, sell more copies, for the publisher to print more copies and things like that of the book. And so I thought that was very interesting. Amazon does none of that. Amazon just literally takes your money, calculate the sale, and that's it. They don't provide any type of feedback. Well, we know the Amazon, they're competing pretty much with publishers anyway, so why would they do that? I don't know all the ins and outs of that, y'all, but yeah, I'm at Chick-fil-A. I just bought some coffee for the road from McDonald's, Mickey D's. It's my card. I hope I got enough money on my card. Anyway, so I will be intentionally making more purchases at independent or indie bookstores, Barnes and Nobles, here and there, within reason, within a specified budget, like maybe $60 whenever I go. You know, it just depends, okay?
Good morning, how you doing today?
Good morning. Can I get an egg white grill?
Of course. What's the name for the order?
Just the sandwich, that's it.
Any sauces or condiments or anything? Alright, just the egg white grill muffin. It's gonna be $5.19 for you. Do you have the Chick-fil-A app to scan today?
You have to swipe this.
Let's try.
You have to do it slow.
Alright, you are all set.
Okay.
Go there. My friend's gonna
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Alright, so yeah, I'm going to be purchasing more books intentionally at these local independent bookstores for authors that I want to support, especially Black authors, because they don't get enough support and things like that. And so I am going to be doing that. Yeah, so I will see you in Raleigh. Okay, y'all, so I am on the road and I just set a budget for this book trip. And so my budget is going to be $120. So I got the cash. Here's $120. I got the cash out of the bank. And so that's going to be my budget. I feel like that's enough. Probably more than enough to spend on books. Okay. I wouldn't usually do this, but again, I now know the importance of, truly know the importance of supporting small independent bookstores, because you're supporting authors, local authors, and so, you know, the books are just more expensive. I don't intend on doing this all the time, just because, you know, my money actually goes other places that are more important than buying books. But, you know, I also want to support someone who writes for a living, and so, and also the bookstores as well when I can. So that is what we're going to do. Once the 120 is done, that's it, y'all. And I'm only going to buy books that either sound really good, like I've never heard of. Hopefully I'll find a lot of books like that, or books that have been on my radar but I have yet to purchase. So, and maybe some like book accessories, bookmarks and stuff like that. You can never get enough bookmarks. I'm about an hour out from Raleigh right now, and so it's about 10:48 in the morning, and I know these bookstores usually close kind of early, like maybe 5-6 o'clock. So hopefully I can visit at least three bookstores if my sister is up to it. Yeah, so I might have to do this by myself, right? Because she might not be interested in going to a bookstore, but we'll see. Also, y'all, which helps the author as well, the local library, which I never knew, they also send feedback, y'all. So even though we're not supporting with our physical dollars, we're just checking out the book, that helps. Libraries are sending feedback to the publishers as well as to how many people are requesting the books, if the book is popular. You know, a lot of people are coming in asking about the book, putting holes, things like that. So I was surprised to learn that, you know. So I will definitely, I do support my library already, but I will definitely keep on supporting them, because that is helping my checking out physical books. They need foot traffic. They need people to actually check out physical books in order to support the library, to make sure they are staying open. We need to be, you know, going to the library. They need foot traffic, okay? They need people checking out physical books. So I will see you when I get to Raleigh. Everybody wants to call me when I'm filming a video. Anyway, so it's 3 days later, y'all, and I did not end up going to one bookstore while I was in Raleigh, okay? Because my sister and I really wasn't here for that. We really were enthralled in the wedding thing, right? Finding accessories. I tried on a second dress, and we spent so much time doing that. Then we went to Crabtree Mall and looked around and things like that. Going to a bookstore went out the window, okay? And so I'm still going to support, you know, my local bookstores, also Barnes & Noble, right? Because they are doing right by the authors by reporting to the publishers that how good their books are doing or not doing, which, you know, can be a negative thing. And explain why when you go into the Barnes & Noble, they only have one book, or they don't even have any books, because they're not going to keep ordering books if no one is buying them. I mean, that's just business, right? That's how business goes. Anyway, so I am headed to a meeting, and so I'm in like a different area of the city. And so while I'm out here, I'm going to, you know, Google some local bookstores. Now, I already have one in mind closer to where I live, but I probably won't make it back here. Okay, y'all, so I'm done with my meeting, and so now I am going to a bookstore called Park Road Books. Never been over here before, or to that particular bookstore. I'm familiar with this area, but I've never been to that bookstore. So we're gonna go in there, go over there and see what they're talking about. I am back to show you guys what I got from the independent bookstores that I visited. So I visited two independent bookstores and a Barnes & Noble. Okay, so Barnes & Noble is still included in this because they are doing the right things by authors. Okay, so here is the bag that houses all of my books. So I just put all of them in here. I'm going to start with the single book that I purchased from Barnes & Noble a week prior to me doing this, which I'm still counting it because we're trying to cut back on buying books. And so since I had already purchased one, this one will be counted. So I did get S.A. Cosby's new paperback book, King of Ashes. So I'm excited to get into this. I have briefly heard a little bit about it, but again, I don't watch people's full review if I have not read the book and it's a book that I'm interested in. I haven't really even read the back. I'm finding that I really like doing that because that way I can go into it blind and I can be surprised. And so I'm looking forward to this one. So King of Ashes by S.A. Cosby in paperback from Barnes & Noble. Okay, so I'm going to show the single book that I purchased from, I think it's called, it's a really, really tiny bookstore called Second Look Books. It's in Harrisburg, North Carolina. So this is Kindred. I bought this because of the cover. I absolutely love the cover. I already have this book, I know. So this is going to be a sort of like trophy. So I like the fact that not only is the cover different, but also it has got a imprint on the actual book itself. And so I really, really like that. There's another reason why I like this book so much I don't want to share. So we've got Kindred in a beautiful hardback cover that's absolutely gorgeous. Next is Park Street Books. I bought 3 books, and so let me show you what I got. All right, starting with this cute book here is called the Pocket Maya Angelou Wisdom book. So I love this because I can stick this book into any purse that I'm carrying out for the day when I'm discouraged, or maybe sit it by my desk at work when I'm feeling discouraged or stressed out. I can read one of her phrases of wisdom. I love this woman. Quotes. The one quote that I live by her is, when someone shows you who they are, believe them. And I have found that to be true throughout my years of living on this earth. And I read that quote like maybe 15, 20 years ago, something like that. And it's just stuck with me. And so when I saw this at the bookstore, I was like, yeah, I gotta get this because this is just perfect for just uplifting me, reminding me who I am, okay? And yeah, so I went ahead and got this one. And so I'm gonna just read you a sample quote. It says, for self-improvement, nothing will work unless you do. Faith is dead without work. So here's another one for self-improvement as well. When you learn, teach. When you get, give. That is wonderful to remind us that we need to be giving back to the younger generation, or just anybody, if we have it, that has less than us. So the next book that I purchased is Burn Down Master's House. I've heard great things about this book. I heard the audio was not so good. And so this is a hardback. However, since it does come in like a small hardback, it's very small. I can hold this with ease, right? It's not going to be very cumbersome to hold this while I'm reading. I don't typically like to buy hardbacks anymore unless it's like a trophy or a self-help or nonfiction. That's what I'm trying to say. Nonfiction book that I really want to keep on my shelf in reference for years to come. But I will purchase like the smaller hardbacks like this one. And so I'm not going to read the synopsis because people probably know what this book is about, or have heard about this book. So I love rebellion stories. And so, yeah. Burn Down Master's House. Got this one. Okay, and the last book that I purchased is this big old book. Y'all, look. This is the collected poems of Langston Hughes. Langston Hughes is a titanic figure in the 20th century American literature, a powerful interpreter of the American experience. His poems are as vital as ever. I love the cover. I read another short story collection by him, something about white folks. That's the name of the title. I can't remember the title, but it's got white folks in the title. And I absolutely loved all his short stories. And so I think these are like unpublished or published poems. And I like the fact that I could just pick this up at any time randomly and just open to a random page and just read a poem. I like the idea of that. And so this is a thick book. It really is. It really is. So yeah, it says the ultimate book for both dabblers and serious scholar. And a serious scholar. I'm a dabbler. Okay, I'm not a serious scholar. Is sumptuous and sharp, playful and sparse, grounded in an earthly music. This book is a glorious revelation. And that came from the Boston Globe. It's spanning 5 decades. It spans 5 decades and comprises of 868 poems, nearly 300 of them which have never before appeared in book form. This magnificent volume is the definitive sampling of a writer who has been called the poet laureate of African America. So that is the collected poems of Langston Hughes. And I think I have about $20 roughly left. I'm just gonna put that back in my bank. I'm fine. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books. That's more than enough. And so that is it, y'all. So again, support your local independent bookstore. Barnes & Noble is doing the right thing. So if you get the book from Barnes & Noble or like a big box bookstore, I think that is okay as well. But I say small independent because they really need the support, because if they don't get support, they will get left behind. And because they are doing the right things for authors, then I think they do need some support. So I did order my son's book. It should be here tomorrow. And so I'm excited about that, getting his book from an independent bookstore. And I let him know that I did that, and he was happy about that. So I got 2 copies.
Out of my mind. Wow.
Love is a guy that thinks he's fine.
Look at me.
Also known as a buster. Say what, say what, say what.
So me visiting that black-owned supposed bookstore yesterday was a flop, because either they went out of business, they just weren't there. And so it is a brand new day, and I am off to do some chores or run some errands. And in between my errands, I'm going to be going to, I would say, you know what? I left my money. I don't want to do that this time. I'm going to go back upstairs and get the $120 that I actually took out and physically in cash, because my goal was to pay it in cash, but yesterday I left the money at home, and so I swiped my card, and that was like $60. So I'm gonna put $60 back into the bank so I don't go over, and then keep $60 for the rest of the trips to the bookstore. So that's what I'm going to do. Let me run upstairs and get the money, and I will be back. Okay, so I got the cash, and so I'm gonna run my errands first, and then I will meet you at the bookstore. Okay, y'all, so I'm in the parking lot of a bookstore that's actually around the corner from my house, like where I live, like the area that I live. I have lived in this area for several years, and I've seen this place for like years and years, but never knew that it was a bookstore. It's actually a church with a cafe and a bookstore in it. So that is very interesting, isn't it? It is independent and it's a church, so that'll be interesting to get some Christian books. So we'll see what they have, and I will take you in there with me. I just checked with someone who was on the in the parking lot and asked if the bookstore was open, and he said it was. So we're gonna go in there, y'all. And maybe I'll do a little planning. Let me stop talking and get in this store. Okay, so I'm back from Barnes & Noble, and I'm going to show you what I got. So like I said, I went in there specifically for 2 books, Junie, because it's now in paperback, and then Red Clay, because I saw that it was in paperback as well. They did have Junie, however, they only had 1 copy, and the copy was in really bad condition. The corner was turned up, and then the edges of the book was kind of messed up. So I didn't buy that because that was like $18. And because these books are more expensive, okay? Well, one thing that I did notice about my Barnes & Nobles is that not only do I like the fact that they have all the books mixed throughout, like fiction, whether it's a black author, white author, all the books are mixed in. I like that. Number 2, not all the books were the same price. It's usually the same price for a paperback, $17.99. But I noticed that some of them were $20, some of them were $14.99. I guess if it's like a vintage book or older book. So all of them were not the same price, which I guess is a good thing too. I guess they're trying to be competitive. And they had a wide variety, y'all. I guess because so many more, well, it seems that so many more people are reading, but the statistics say otherwise. But as far as social media is concerned, there's a book community or presence. They've stepped up their game. They've got a lot more classics, like you can find a Penguin classic. At this Barnes & Noble, you can find like older books, republished books. And so let me stop talking and show you the books I got. So I didn't get Junie, but I did find Red Clay by Charles B. Fancher. It is in paperback. I started to listen to this when this first came out on audio, but I did not finish it in time. So I didn't get far. So I definitely need to start over. And so I'm glad I have the physical book. While I do like audio, sometimes I can't concentrate or get the full scope of what the author is trying to put down until I read it with my eyes. And so I got that. And that one was, I think it was $19.99. So I got Red Clay. And then because I saw that this book was republished, I went ahead and got Not Without Laughter, because I was going to buy it on Amazon a couple of months ago. I think it may be still sitting in my cart. And so when I saw this in Barnes & Noble in a republished copy, hey, why not? So I went ahead and picked this one up, and I love this copy, y'all. This copy is so nice. It's so nice. It's a paperback, but it's like a harder paperback. I don't know if that makes any sense, but the cardstock or whatever type of paper that they use, it is sturdier than let's say this book right here. So this is a novel by Langston Hughes, and so can't wait to read this one. It's an introduction by Jasmine Mans, something like that. All right, and then the next book that I picked up is Killers of the Flower Moon, The Osage Murders and the Birth of the FBI by David Grann. Came out to $66, which was not bad for 4 books. And that was because the prices on all of the books were not the same. So I forgot to tell you that this one was $14.99. So that's good. This book was, I believe it was $17. But this one, really good. It's a nonfiction, but it reads, the lady in the store said it read just like fiction. So the story sounds really, really good, y'all. Here's the name of the book if you want to look up the synopsis. But yeah, I'm very interested in reading that. And this one was a National Book Award finalist. And then the last book that I bought is Lady Chatterley's Lover by D.H. Lawrence. Now, this one was not on my radar whatsoever. However, if you know me, you know I love historical fiction. You know I love period historic pieces like TV shows, movies, and things like that. And also books, okay? Books. And so this one sounded really, really good. I have heard of this book. I have heard of it, but not recently, okay? As you can see, this is a white woman, naked white woman, sitting in a blanket or something. Yeah. Anyway, let me read you the synopsis, okay? So it says drama and tea, okay? Drama and tea is why I like these historic pieces. So it says Constance Chatterley awaits her aristocratic husband's return, only to realize his war wound have left him paralyzed and impotent. Lonely, she begins an affair with the gamekeeper, Oliver Mellors, with whom she finds love through sexual fulfillment, inspired by the affair between D.H. Lawrence's German wife and an Italian peasant. Lady Chatterley's Lover celebrates passion and life. So y'all, scandalous, right? Scandalous. So I know I'm going to enjoy this. I better enjoy this. So this one, it was $9.99. So it was not like the full price, which I think is great that Barnes & Noble are doing this, because that would bring more customers in like myself who does not want to pay $20 for every book in your store. Okay, no, don't want to do that. Don't want to do that. Anyway, so I think that's going to be the conclusion of this video, y'all. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, watching the video. Leave feedback down below if you've read any of these books, what you think. I will see you guys in the next video. Take care and be blessed.